Hey Team Chester, wanted to reach out to you guys as we wrap up the simulation of Cap Sim for spring of 18. Thought that we could do a couple things here, just kind of recap some of the successes and areas for improvement as we go forward into your final presentation, which will be, I want to say, the first Thursday of May. I'm not sure what day it is. Maybe the 3rd at 8:30. So as we kind of game plan from here on out, just wanted to make sure you guys have that date on your calendar. We will run it just as a usual meeting, except you guys will do a live presentation of your findings, strategy, finance, marketing, production, all that type of stuff. So let's go ahead and jump into it here, and then we can wrap up at the end. So a couple things, just to kind of cover some of the main issues. You know, from a cash standpoint, we had some really good conversations last Thursday night about what to do with capacity and things like that. So when I look at this, obviously we had a huge jump in cash. Could be from a couple different things, and we'll kind of take a look at that going forward. I'm also glad that we were able to minimize our inventory going forward as well. So carrying 33 million in inventory from the penultimate to the final round was a little worrisome. Really glad to see that we could cut that down significantly going forward. So a couple things that we saw here. Looks like we were able to sell off some of the capacity we had. Looks like we had a huge bump when it came into cash for operations. And we're also able to pay money back when it came to finance. So all good results there. All right, so operated with 5 different products, and from an inventory carry standpoint, really good looking going forward on all of them. I know that we had one negative number when it came to SID from a net margin standpoint, but all in all, a pretty darn good showing. And you take SID out of there, and my guess is that your overall contribution margin probably jumps up to close to 40%. Would be my guess. And when you look at all the variable margins, looking good there. Was also happy to see that our profit was one of the areas or indicators that increased significantly, and honestly, probably going back to past 6 rounds, or maybe the entire simulation, we saw growth in profit on a round-by-round basis. So obviously, I'm very happy with that result, and I think you guys should be as well. And you look at all the other return numbers from a positive standpoint there as well. All right, going to go take a look at the Courier. Look at a couple things here. Just do a quick comparison standpoint. Pretty darn good when it came to return on sales and when it came to contribution margin from a comparison standpoint. Very consistent as far as I'm concerned when it came to some of those numbers. And I also like to point out, and I know that we've done this quite a bit over the past couple of rounds, the sales that you guys have had in comparison to others hasn't always been the highest, but from a cumulative profit standpoint and from a profit over the past couple of rounds standpoint, definitely showed a lot of growth when it came to controlling your costs and being able to move forward. And I know we talked about wanting to try and increase market share maybe up to 23%. It looks like we saw some jumps in others, in other people's market share. And so we lost a little bit there. But again, the sales are going up on a round-by-round basis. And actually, when we look at stock price, the fact that we were able to pay back some of that additional debt that we had was definitely a positive for that as well. All right, really happy with what we were able to do. I know that we got rid of some capacity this past round. That probably impacted our numbers a little bit. But when we look going forward, I don't know that we produced any of SID, but we were still able to try and sell a good portion of that off. Probably not as much as you guys would have wanted to sell off. But definitely was a positive when you look at what we were able to clear there as well. And when you look at the other two where we didn't clear all inventory between Cake and Cure, it still did a good job. I mean, we're still operating on a very small percentage of total sales from there as well. So I was glad to see that kick in this past round. So all in all, I feel very confident. I feel very comfortable with the progress that you guys have made over the past couple rounds. And quite frankly, I mean, that's not really fair. I would say significant time over the entire simulation. When we start to look at the perceptual map here from Coat and Sid and Cake, and even with Cedar and Cure, we're doing well. We're definitely able to sell to the market share. With Sid, because we're not on that leading edge of what the market's trying to do, we kind of got taken advantage of. We weren't able to sell a lot of product there as well, or at least from a comparison standpoint. But I think all in all, you guys should feel very comfortable with what you were able to achieve with the strategy that was implemented round after round, and making those small tweaks as well. So I was definitely glad to see the growth from that standpoint. So I'm going to wrap this all up with, I will talk to you guys again live in a couple weeks for your presentation. If there's any questions between now and then, as always, please get in touch with me at any point in time, and we'll make sure you guys are on the right track. Thanks for your time, Chester. Have a great night. Bye-bye.